Everyone, I want to talk about end-to-end encryption and anonymity. I want to talk about practical aspects about configuring modern XMPP clients, and I want to talk briefly about Invisible Internet project and its configuration. But firstly, I want to talk about end-to-end encryption. What is it and why we should use it? When you're using secure or insecure channel to communicate, like Invisible Internet project or HTTPS or another way, only you and your receiver receive information. That's the main idea. But as we will see later, there is a problem about communicated with multiple devices. The root case of the problem, it is initial key exchange. So when you want to talk with someone, we need somehow to trust your initial key. And that's a problem. And the only practical way to solve this problem is to send your keys or verify it via another channel. So regardless asymmetric encryption, we still need to be robust against in the man-in-the-middle attack. Messengers by default are enabled to trust first seen case, and it's common way to do it, but we need to understand that only we may verify the case, and we are responsible for doing it and updating our software, updating our plugins, whatever. And it has another alternative to hold PGP keys and watch them and make them secure, make them safe, and reissue the keys by ourselves. So still PGP is not so bad as it may seem at first glance. I want to say that end-to-end encryption can be used without any XMPP client. All you need is extension. Here is a good example how to use it with Gmail, or another extension in the browser how to decrypt. I want to explain how to configure your proxy, because I2P uses proxy. So for regular account we don't use proxy. So when we set up new account here, we just select protocol, type our name, server name, pass, and that's all. So proxy doesn't used, advanced tab regularly not used, because server is using the same setting as default. It by default require a certificate, so regular account is okay. So we can see how it looks after we configured the account. So it has only server name, password, and that's all. This default value and this default value. But when we need to configure our I2P server or Tor server, we need to configure a proxy. To do so, we we select one of possible options. Yeah, so SOX 5 is good if you have enabled SOX 5. Yeah, so here I see SOX, and I know that port of my server is 4447, and I use it. Yeah, but for you it may also work another port and another protocol. Yeah, by default Java client, Java router using HTTP on port 4444. Yeah, and you could easily understand what I run with such a command. And if you're using Java, so you need to do something like that: localhost or IP, and that's good for your account. I already configured it, and I configured it a little another. I have SOX 5 proxy, and for me it's working well. But I have both I2P routers, I2PD, and Java one. Open Gajim first time, you will see add account, and on advanced settings you will be able to configure proxy. As I said, I have both. You need only one, and the settings the same. So SOX 5 and HTTP for regular Java. Same I want to show you about Psi-Plus. It has proxy also, and it configured per account, so you can have ClearNet client and I2P one. Yeah. So proxy is here, and whatever you want, HTTP or SOX. Dino is the least important client for me because Dino doesn't have I2P, so that's the most reason why I don't use it. It doesn't have proxy configuration, and I can't configure proxy anyway, and I can use it with Tor, or I can't use it with I2P. I can use it with my private VPN server or whatever you want to use it. So your IP address will be seen unless you have proxy by your system or VPN by your system. One important thing that I want to tell, that if you're using XMPP server like I, which support and requires HTTPS, so it requires certificate, you should trust this certificate. It is valid only for I2P, Tor, and ClearNet website doesn't require accept such certificates, self-signed certificates. Because of HTTPS, we need to trust certificate when it asks us. So when you add your XMPP I2P account with self-signed certificate, there will be a window with warning, and because of I2P, you can fully trust this certificate only for this account, only for this server, and it's okay. So I'm here at testing user and see TomFun. Now add TomFun account, I want to open dialog with testing user. Here it is. I am test user. I am Tom Fan. Gajim. Here is Gajim. I want to open Pidgin. Here is Pidgin. So we can see all our windows. So my test setup is 2 accounts, and 2 of them opened in Psi. It's not so good for testing, but it is fully okay for me to test it because I'm using 2 more applications, 2 more clients, and we are going to see how they will work in different scenarios, in different situations, different encryption, and we will see if it is really working or not. There may be some problems. So first of all, I want to talk about Pidgin. So we could enable our encryption, and send a message. Something, don't know, something. And here we see that Pidgin is quite good. Pidgin is good. I've noticed that if we disable encryption, that every app will work fine. Some messages are much stable, and without encryption they are not going to lost. Here we see that for some reason we have a lag. We have a lag in I2P, and it is okay. It's fully okay, so nothing surprising. Let's talk about how I configured encryption in Pidgin. So first of all, I need to go to tutorial, as in every app that we will see today. We need to go to plugins. Plugins is a place where we enabled our security, and here we can see OpenGP extension. I also installed console to do some debug stuff and some synchronization with other messengers, but GPG is enough to configure GPG. Here we must select a key that will be used, a key pair that will be used for our account. So this is a key that is used for every account, for my account, for example, TomFun, XMPP, editor, I2P, and there is no way to select it for another account, another key. It's kind of a problem, but not for me. Okay, let's move forward. As we can see, we can send our public key unencrypted, without encrypted messages, directly. So we see public key, and we see we see that it is not encrypted. Let's try to enable encryption and send a key once more. Yeah, now we can send our encrypted keys. So when one side is accepted, a second part. So when we know at least one end from end-to-end encryption, we can do secure exchanging for another end. Yeah. Pidgin doesn't support any other encryptions. At least I haven't tried different ways. I'm not sure how it's grabbing keys from key server or from who, but I know for sure that until you didn't set up your public key account for another app, for another end, yeah, you can't use encrypted messages. So it's a common problem. You can't start encrypting until someone is online, until someone is sending you keys, and even it is automatically, yeah. So we will even not notice that keys are accepted, but the client is waiting for accepting the keys, and before Pidgin is accepting this key, is encrypted communication is disabled. So here it can find this key, and that's why I can use this encryption. Okay, move next. For example, we may talk about Gajim. So configuration of keys in Gajim made the same, yeah. So we need to go to settings, to the plugins, and when I click on the plugin, I will need to select the key for the account. So here you can see my keys. That's the only thing that I can choose. That's all. So here we have TomFun account and using TomFun keys. It is important not to miss, to confuse them with contact keys, yeah. But it's hard to do because private key is only for TomFun. I have only for TomFun private key. Okay. What we can see here, not here, but when we enable PGP, we can see the contact keys, yeah. So here is a key of another user, yeah, of this user, testing user. As I said, in testing user I set the same keys just for testing. It is okay, I could change it and assign another key, yeah. I may assign some key pair for testing. As you see, when I assign a key for contact, I will not go to the plugins. I assign it in the chat, with this contact. So contact key is assigned, and it is enough to have only public key. So it's okay. Yeah, so let's type something. Yeah, we will see not everything. Why not? This PGP. Okay. What is wrong with Pidgin? It uses PGP. We uses PGP. Pidgin is not so good today. Let's try and unencrypted. So here what we have in the result. Pidgin is support PGP, and it can send it and everyone will receive it. So we sent 2 testing users from TomFun, 2 testing users from TomFun, and 2 testing users from Psi. But what? But Pidgin doesn't see other devices, even if they sign it with the same key as it has. No way. If we try to send some message, so this message will receive only 1. And this will be Pidgin just because we selected Pidgin. If we try to select all, it will be first in the list. We can send it to another. And after a few days Gajim will receive it and even show. I forgot that Gajim support email, and we need to use PGP. PGP is great. So Pidgin, it has bad story, bad history. It doesn't synchronize in with another messenger, and it cannot encrypt it, and sometimes we just cannot receive some messages. But the last is not the Pidgin problem. It's a problem of XMPP. Should select device which you need to receive it That's it. It's back to our XMPP clients. This time we want to see how it is configured in Psi. You may notice this label. It is a thing I wanted to tell, that Psi-Plus can show some events inside the chat, but the most important things like keys exchanging or files or whatever's can be here, and we need to see these things and not to forget. Here I really don't understand what has happened, but here is area where these keys can be. Okay, configuration. As I said earlier, we need to go to plugins for PGP keys, and we can set up PGP like this. So we could select an account and select a key for it, and here it is. Also we can see contacts keys. So this contact will use this key, and this contact will use this key. Yes, because I've used the same key for both testing user and my personal user. Okay, here is the full list of GPG keys. Another thing is showing the keys. As you may see, I don't see it. Finally. So it is internal messaging that is used to configure another client, your friend, to inform him about your keys. And Gajim is somehow to get it. Psi-Plus will show these events. So it's good to start conversation with it, and you may enable another type of encryption before sending your fingerprint. It will receive only Psi-Plus, because only it can understand this thing. Don't see anything. Finally. Good feature to send another one keys, but better not to do it. Okay, so here it is the end of PGP inside Psi-Plus. So let's talk about the same initial exchange key problem as in end-to-end, but for email case. Email case is enhanced protocol. It uses more robust, more resistant temporary encryption sessions, and it helps to be more strong against multiple devices. But anyway, it has the same problem as initial key trust. So we need to compare our key on one device and on another one. So when you log in from new device, you need to check that it is the same keys, and be sure to use proper keys. And as I say, this can be here. You can see some message here. Our contact may be blinking. And if you didn't get these keys, it is a kind of problem, because you may be in the situation when you cannot use encryption at all, because you didn't trust any key, and then you need to go to setup and try to find the keys and try to trust them. But anyway, you need to receive it, and receiving a key is almost fully automatical. So here we have Tom-Fan keys. Tom-Fan have these keys, but if we look at Gajim, and we will go to emo, and then we see that Tom-Fan has a lot of it's not Tom-Fan keys. Here are Tom-Fan keys, and we can compare these items here. This is for testing user that I just showed, and here is the current Gajim keys. Here it is, and it must be compared like here you see that it is completely the same keys. And this is another keys, and you can click here to change, verify. As I said, the initial idea is to trust blindly for the first time, so it's not a good idea to trust every key that you see first time, but it is it is compromising. It is compromise between easiness and security. Yeah. So blind trust is not always good, and you should always review your keys. You should not have such echo. Yeah, I don't remember from which device this key is, but I remember that it is my key. When I find that key and device by pressing on own keys here, or in Psi, my keys can be shown here. Yeah. It's the same key as we see. So here is basically what we need to know about IMO, and you already know how to manage your IMO keys. You can go to plugins, and inside plugins find your IMO, yeah, and manage it. The same is from Gajim. And we can clear them, and we can disable them, and so on. And we can disable blind trust before verification, which is not so good, because if we disable this button, we can lose keys, and it's better to review your keys with this kind of changing trust and trust, delete, and that's it. So lastly, I want to test IMO, and here it is. If we press follow the client, so the message will be sent to the client, last client, and answer will be for him, not for Gajim. But if I switch it, you can see it here. It will be OK, and Gajim will receive it. Of course, if I disable killer feature from Psi. Who is next? Here we see that IMA working better, that it sends to everyone. Of course, this everyone must be be compatible with IMA. For example, Gajim or Psi. Pidgin is out of the scope. That's the main feature of IMA, to send it everywhere. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you for watching me. See you. Bye.